then you cannot buy. Finding a way when you cannot see.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Vanessa. On social media I'm called Nessa Loves, and I'm so happy you're here. So please, as you're here, just help me to like, comment and subscribe on this video as you go on this journey. As you can see by the title, this video is about depression. You know, what's depression, just things surrounding depression, how to overcome it, what's the symptoms of it, etc. Disclaimer, guys, I am not a medical profession. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a pastor. I am just sharing from my experience and my journey, what I've experienced, the journey that I've gone through, and how God has helped me through that journey. And I'm just basically sharing it. It may be able to help somebody else, and that's all. So I'm just sharing. So if I say anything wrong or that you don't agree with, I've got glue on my hands, that you don't agree with, please don't judge me too harshly.
First of all, just the internet definition of depression. What is depression?
Depression is a low mood that lasts for weeks or months and affects your daily life. And then this says symptoms of depression includes feeling unhappy, hopeless, low self-esteem, finding no pleasure in things that you usually enjoy. Treatment for depression usually involves a combination of lifestyle changes, talking therapies and medicines. And many things can cause depression, such as stressful events, personality, family history and giving birth. But I would say I was quite ignorant. And ignorance is just kind of just having lack of knowledge. And then, do you know what I mean? So I didn't have the knowledge on it. So when I would hear once in a while people say depression, or when it kind of, everybody was saying, my depression, or I'm suffering from depression, or I feel depressed, I kind of thought it was like an overdiagnosis of just a feeling that they're having. Yeah, to me it was like, overdiagnosis, like depression, that's a harsh word, because growing up I heard words like I'm stressed out, or I'm fed up, I'm tired, I can't bother, like words like that. So until I experienced it myself, and it was lockdown when this happened. So beginning of lockdown, so let's say prior to lockdown, I'm a mother, so I'm doing the school run in the morning 5 times a week. Let's paint a picture. I'm doing the school run 5 times in the morning, 5 times in the afternoon. So let's give a round of applause for mom. We do the school run. I'm cooking, doing hair and makeup. I'm a hairdresser and a makeup artist. I'm mobile as well, so I drive up and down to clients. I was driving up and down to clients at the time. I was attending church, and in my church, like an active member, so I would get to church, I'm supposed to get to church before everybody, along with all the other workers and ministers, and then I'll leave late as well. Yeah, and that's 3 times a week. I'd get Bible studies on Monday, prayer meetings on Friday, and then Sunday service. So that's church 3 times a week, mobile appointments over the weekend, home visits during the weekdays, school run, just maintaining the house, etc. So I was just always on the go, if that made sense. I was always on the go, and then lockdown happened, and it was just like, everything was at a standstill. Schools were closed. I wasn't taking any clients. Church moved to online, so I wasn't on a move. I was just in the house. And then I started to feel myself cry every night. And I am someone that's really emotional, and I do tend to cry. That crying is like my therapy, basically. I'm someone who will just cry in the car, very emotional. I cry during movies. yeah, my baby, basically. But at the time, I felt like it was every night. So I would wait for my daughter to go to sleep, and I would just sit on my sofa, lay on my sofa in the living room, and I would cry. I started to feel really low, feel really depressed. And my way of describing depression at the time, it's like being in a black hole and you're just sinking, and there's no way out. There's no light, there's no ladder to climb. It just feels like you're just in this black hole. And I remember at the time, I prayed and I cried, and I prayed and I cried, and I was just like to God at the time, God, I'm willing to cry every night. and mourn, because I felt like I was mourning something. I was mourning my past of what I had been through. I was like, oh, all parts of me that died, or parts of me that I lost, like the trust that was broken, that kind of feels like death, the relationships that were broken, the events that had transpired. And I felt like those were surfacing. They were all surfacing. And I was just crying and crying and crying. So depression is to do with your past, and anxiety is to do with your future. So when we're thinking about depression, we're looking at things that's happened, things that's transpired in past times. And I remember just saying to God, like, God, let me feel every single pain that I'm going through right now, even though it hurts so much. I want to feel it, because if it means that I can cry, I have to cry this season so that I don't bring these tears into my next season, so that I can laugh in my next season and smile in my next season, then let me do it. Because obviously I have been burying these emotions, burying these feelings, and now it's surfacing. Do you understand? So I had the mindset that this was so painful and this was so hard, but let me just deal with it. Let me just feel everything so that I understand what this thing is, and so that I can relate to people also when I come out of this, and I can say to them, this is what this thing was for me, and this is how I felt as well, so I understand where you're coming from. And there were times when I literally had to roll myself out of bed because the pain was so much. There was times where I would wake up and roll myself out of the bed onto my knees because I don't have the strength to get up, and I'll just go on my knees and I'll just say, God, please just give me strength to get through today. Yeah, just to get through, to do the simplest things. I needed strength to do them because I just felt hopeless, didn't want to move. I just felt sad, I felt down, I felt like there's no way out, like this is just darkness. I don't feel hopeful. You're not looking towards the future, nothing. And that continued for a while. So, and then that's how I realized that, okay, this is depression, you know, this is depression, and this is not normal. And God, I need you to help me through this, because I don't want to stay here. I don't want this to be my end, because to think of that as your end, it was a scary thought. And I cried every night. And I remember one morning, my daughter wrote a note to me, and she just wrote, I think she was around 6 at the time, 6 or 7, and she wrote, Mummy, I heard you crying last night. It was that bad. Like, in the middle of the day when I'm at my mum's, I'd be crying in the room by myself. And I was just, yeah. I think, yeah, so that's, just wanted to paint a picture of my experience and how I felt at the time. And there was nobody to really talk to. I felt like, who am I going to go to and say, oh, I'm depressed? Do you understand what I mean? It felt like something that I didn't know what to do. I felt a bit wrong for feeling the way I felt. I felt like, just get over it. Do you know what I mean? Just, it's not of God, like, just whatever. And I remember I spoke to my bishop about it on the phone after a while, and I said, Mum, I feel like, you know, I'm going through depression. And then I had like counseling on the phone and prayer and stuff, and that helped me. And now I want to talk about the signs of depression, or what it may look like, because I feel like that must even to be more graceful to other people, because what depression might have looked like for me, it might not look like for somebody else. And I'm learning in this season to just not be ignorant to other people's journey, because it's not the same as mine, right? So signs, I'm going to talk about the signs and symptoms of depression, or what it may look like. So number one, I would say, well, what I've seen and what I've heard, it could be looking like just sleeping a lot, staying in bed all day, no motivation to do anything. Like, they don't even want to go to work. That person might not even want to go out. They might not want to show up to events. They might want to cancel their plans, etc., etc. But then, like, the person who doesn't want to go to events, that's them. But another person that is going through depression, they might go to every single event because they want that escape. That's their escape mechanism. So they want to go to every party, they want to get drunk, they want to use the opportunity to drink alcohol because that's the way they cope, that's when they feel their best. Depression may look like you're sitting around the table with your friend and they're just drinking cocktails after cocktails, getting giddy-headed and laughing because in fact they had been crying all night and they know they're gonna go home and cry again, so they're just having their fun. Depression may look like vaping, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, just subs like alcohol, drink a bottle of wine at home to make yourself feel that temporary, whatever it may look like, sex, like having sex with people that could be somebody else's symptoms of depression. So yeah, also food, I'd say. So you can develop an unhealthy relationship with food. So like comfort eating, I think I'm more on the comfort eating side. So I would gain weight when I'm stressed. Some people when they're stressed, like they lose weight. I would eat more. So there's comfort eating or not eating at all. Or just eating when you remember to eat or something like that. It can look like bathing and brushing your teeth is an accomplishment because you don't have the motivation to do anything. Like if they left you to it and you'd stay in that same spot on the bed and binge watch a movie or binge watch something or scroll on social media all day and just to get through the day. It can look like just, as I said, just feeling low, finding it hard to look after your children, finding it hard to do the things that you normally do. So I'd say that those are things that you can look out for when you see for yourself or for other people. I believe that depression feels like when you're in it, it feels like this is going to be your end. Like there's no tomorrow, there's no hope, there's no future. But I think my main thing that I want to tell you from this video is that it can and that it will get better. It's not your end. When you're going through something, it feels so overwhelming, so big, so heavy, so consuming that at the time, like it will consume your life, your mind, everything. And then you feel like this is my destination. But oftentimes it's not your destination. You're just passing through. You're just going on a journey. And that's what I had to tell myself in that time, even though it didn't feel like it. You are just going on a journey. And even when I look back on my journey, with all the things that I've been through, when I felt like, oh my God, this is the end of my life. Oh my God, I don't have money. Oh my God, I need a job. Oh my God, my heart's broken. I would just go back to myself, my younger self, and say, you're just passing through. This is not your destination. You're going to pass through this and you're going to experience different things, and then you can just gather all the gems that you can gather in that trial, in that tribulation, in that season, so that it can help you in your next. Okay, so now I want to talk about things that helps or combats depression. I want to share my way and things that I did that helped me when I was going through it. And let's get into it. It might not work for you, you might not agree, but I'm just saying from my perspective. So once more, please bear with me. So number one, I feel like praying. I don't know, you might not have a faith or a belief, but I can't deny it was God that brought me through. Like my faith in God, just to know that I am loved, I am called. Like this depression thing or this trial thing that I'm going through is not who I am. It's not my identity. It's not my beginning and end. It's just a journey that I'm going through. And prayer, I feel like it goes hand in hand with reading the word of God, because the Bible tells you all of those things. Like the Bible tells you that you're going to go through this, but I'm going to deliver you. You might go through this, but you're going to come out. You might fall this amount of times, but you're going to get up. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it gives you that motivation. It gives you that encouragement. It gives you that. You're looking for affirmation. Go into the Bible. You'll find affirmations. You'll find motivations. You'll find therapy. You'll find so much things. So I'd say definitely prayer helps. Secondly, on the subject of prayer, find a place of worship. I'm in a ministry, and it was those Friday night prayers that was like, it's like tablets, you know, it's like medicine, and it helps you. Do you understand? So that friend that's been inviting you to their church, this is your sign. Go. That church that you've been walking past in your area, this is your sign. Go to the house of God. Because that's what really helps me, hearing the word of God online, being in a place of prayer. Because sometimes, let's be real, you might be so depressed. Let me put that disclaimer that you might not be able to pray in your spare time, and I'm just being real. You might just be like, oh, what's the point, or I don't feel it, or I want to pray but I can't. But when you go to church, you get that motivation, you get that lifting. And as I say, like, the more you keep going to church, you're going to be hearing positive things, like light. You're going to be hearing things of light, things of you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, there is hope and a better future and a great expected end. And then when you're hearing the good things, the bad things are going away and it's shifting out, and then the light is coming in. So the light of joy, hope, peace, that assurance is coming in, and then the darkness of the doubt, the fears, the sadness is going out. And then even though when you might finish, the things might come back in little by little, you're still pushing it back out, and until eventually you are completely free from whatever it is. So I'd say go to church. Definitely, I'm an advocate for that. Go to the house of God. What else would I say? I would say getting help, right? Like, don't feel bad. As I said earlier on, depression is to do with your past. You didn't get up and say, oh, I'm going to be depressed, I'm going to put myself through this thing. No, you went through something, or something happened to you. Sometimes you may not even know, but something happened that's brought that on, a series of events or relationship, whatever it may stem from. So don't feel bad about that, but get help. Talk to a pastor, get therapy. You can get therapy from the GP, talking therapy. You can get therapy from, you know, people who do therapy. Go see a therapist. We need to normalize having therapy. I had therapy, like this year I had bereavement therapy. From last year to this year I had bereavement therapy, and that helped. You know, that was a safe space. I speak to my bishop and I get, you know, like godly counseling, godly advice, and that helps. So speak to people who are of a higher, more positive mind. Go to somebody who is more inclined spiritually, psychologically, than to just go to your friend that is like you're just, you know. Just go to somebody. You might even have an auntie that you trust, a friend that's a Christian, and just talk to them and just say, do you know what, just pray for me, this is how I'm feeling. Getting help, for me at the time, it looked like I couldn't manage my house cleaning and my housework, so it meant that I needed to get a cleaner. And my mom was just like to me, just clean it all yourself. But I knew what I needed. I knew at the time that I needed a cleaner that was going to make my life easier. It's going to make my parenting easier, because I didn't have the motivation to clean my house. And depression can look like your house is messy and you hate mess, but you just don't even have the motivation to do it. And for some people, it may mean that they clean a lot all the time. And obviously, I love a clean house. I wanted a clean house because when your house is clean, you have clarity. You have like a clear space, and the heaviness is not there. It's light. But when your house is in disarray and messy, it reflects on what's going on internally, and that just adds fuel to the fire. So clear your environment. If you are struggling to tidy, pay somebody. A cleaner is like £15 an hour. I would rather pay that £30 for the 2 hours and know that my house is clean and I'm looking after my mental health, my peace of mind, and able to give my child more of me, than to be thinking, oh yeah, I have to stay on top of cleaning when I know I can't do it. So get help. Go and get help from wherever you need to get help from. Also, getting help may look in like sending baba your little ones to families, members that you trust and want smart. Don't want to be ignorant and think automatically that you have family, because you may not. But if you do, if you can pay a childminder to watch baby whilst you get some extra rest, or call a friend round, you know, I need some rest, or book a hotel, Go and sleep, go and rest, go and walk by the seaside, do things that are therapeutic, like going for walks, going to the park, going to the gym, developing healthy habits, etc. Making a smoothie that can be, you know, it's the little things, you know, sometimes, but just things like that. And one thing that got me through as well, lastly, was journaling. So get a book and write letters to your older self, you know, your younger self, sorry, your younger self, and then write message to your older future self. Does that make sense? So I used to write and I used to feel so sad, but what I didn't do, because I've got this belief or knowledge, whatever you want to call it, that there's power, life and death is in the power of your tongue, but it's the same thing as also writing it on paper. So I never wrote anything negative about myself. I never wanted to write anything. Even I saw a meme or read it somewhere and it was just like, writing is a form of spell. So they call it spell, like spelling, like, you know, when you cast a spell. So it's like people use writing to decree or establish something. So I didn't want to write, oh, I am so sad today. I would write, God, I thank you because you're taking away sadness, for example. I thank you because I'm going to be so much happier. Thank you that no matter what I'm going through right now, you already have a plan and you've already seen my end, and this is not my end. You know, write things like that. I look forward to you blessing me. I look forward to you healing my heart. I look forward to you taking away every pain and wiping away every tears. Journaling things like that. I am loved. I thank you because I'm loved. I thank you because I am more than my circumstances. Journal, journal, journal. And that's it for today. I don't want to go too much over time, but I really sincerely hope that this video has in some way helped you. Send it to a friend that may be struggling with depression, just to let them know that this is not your end. Like, you are just passing through. Like, God is able to heal you from anything that you go through. Even as a Christian, I felt like it was a taboo. Like, oh, how can I say I'm going through depression, Christian, because I'm supposed to be, I don't know, you know? But God will allow you to go through these things because you'll be able to talk about it. He will set you free from it, and then you'll be able to help other people to get through it. Because I don't know if you guys can relate, but when someone's been through something and they talk to you about it, it hits different because you know the pain that I'm going through. As opposed to when someone is talking to you, think, so imagine someone that doesn't have a child saying to you, oh, this is how you should look after your child, blah, blah, blah. They might be right, but it's a bit more harder to understand and hear them. Whereas if it's a mother, you're like, oh yeah, true, you understand how I feel right now. You understand the sleepless nights, you understand this and that. And also, I think another thing that I did as well, I asked my daughter's dad. I said to him, I'm struggling right now. Could you just help me more with just occupying her time? And that might mean for you, you might not have your child's father active, but you know, like the things that I can't do, like making breakfast, cooking, I might not feel like I want to do it. He can do it, and it lifts the burden off me. So just asking for help, sitting that person down and saying to them, you know what, I'm struggling. So can you just help me? You know, normally maybe I give 70% and you give 30%, but can we just maybe balance it a little bit more? Go into mom and say, mommy, you know, etc. So that's my advice. Oh, I've gone to talking again. This was meant to be the end of the video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah? Thank you so much. And yeah, I just pray that God will bless you and meet you where you are. That this video has been a blessing to you. Do engage with me in the comments. I will be releasing more videos. I intend to release a video on grief. Well, because I feel like grief is just something that it's so hard to touch. It's so hard to touch because when someone can't relate, it's just so hard. I just want to thank God for keeping me and for bringing me through. That even when I went through other things and things that transpired afterwards, I get sad sometimes because I'm a human being. Something might happen, I might be having a bad day, depression. I feel genuine joy and hope that I know that my future is going to be better by the grace of God. Now, regardless of what I've gone through, regardless of what it looks like now, I can laugh, I can smile, I can be grateful, I can be just thankful for life, for family, for my daughter. Thank God for my other daughter that went to be with God. Thank God for my family. Thank God for so much things that there is to be thankful for. Like so much. Like I could be here for a very long time if you really think about it. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, and that's that. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to my video. Thank you for clicking. Please do like and share it with somebody else that you think it may be able to help. Share it with a mother that may be struggling. Share it with, you know, somebody, and encourage them that they will get through this, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a light. But yeah, thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way when you cannot see.